Headline at the top reads Bridges Helpdesk. Horizontal view of a suspension bridge erected over a body of water. The email address, helpdesk@imagemd.org, appears centered below the base of the bridge and above the water. On the left side of the bridge are the words high school, and on the right side of the bridge are the words college and jobs. Next is the multicolored logo of the Maryland State Department of Education and the words, "This unique project is being coordinated through the Image Center of Maryland, a center for independent living in Towson, and it is funded by a grant from the Maryland Department of Education Division of Special Education/Early Intervention Services."
Hello, everyone. This is Hindley Williams, Project Coordinator for the Bridges Transition Help Desk. We are here celebrating World Social Work Day. Carlton Walker is here with us, our project manager, and we also have a special guest, Laura Havard. So Laura, I'd love for you to take an opportunity to introduce yourself and share with us a little bit about your experiences with social work as it relates to your education and your profession.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Laura Havard, and I am a licensed clinical social work certified. I've been practicing social work for over 30 years, 95% in healthcare. I got my master's in the dark age of 1980 from Marywood University. And then I moved to the Washington, D.C. area and decided I really wanted to go healthcare. But in the old days, there was no healthcare track, there was no healthcare field placement or practicum or whatever you call it in different universities. And so I just learned it by trial and fire. And my experience is predominantly in the healthcare. I work inpatient. And so I've worked every specialty, working with patients and families, helping them understand their diagnosis. And that would be surgical. So any of the surgical areas, any of the internal medicine areas. I predominantly now do oncology and neurology. So helping with disposition, like what happens next when they leave the hospital, understanding, is this a short stay, a long stay? What's the impact to them if we know? And also giving them resources. So that's kind of in a quick view, that's what my education has allowed me to do.
Thank you so much. That sounds like such rewarding work. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about what are your favorite aspects of working in this field?
Wow. First of all, it's always fast moving. You never know what patient's going to need your services. Which ones you think are going to be easy in terms of helping them with resources and moving to the next level of care? Or is it going to be difficult? Oh, that's the easy case. Doesn't have to be. So basically what that means is that I'm helping families understand what the resources are, what the limitations are, what's going to be required for them to go to the next level if they're going home or to another rehab facility, or just living with a chronic condition or, a syndrome, which is going to change what they perceive their life to be in terms of work and lifestyle and whatnot. So it's crisis intervention. It's dealing with people in a lot of medical crises / stress with limited resources of family support in our highly mobile system and supports that we have today.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. If you would be able to share a little bit about any of the challenges that you have had to navigate as a person with blindness and low vision, and a little bit about how you were able to navigate those challenges. What techniques did you use?
Wow. Bear in mind that I've been in social work and I've been blind as a social worker in this hospital system for 30 years. So if you step back, things were much worse 30 years ago. And the reason I put that out is people go, oh, no, we've always had it. No, that's not the case. So what's happened is that the EMR, which is an electronic medical record, is not really accessible. Mm-hmm. And they know that, but it's like I'm one provider in worldwide, that is a provider. There's a lot of people that, there's several others that are low vision in the hospital system, but no one's a provider. And so no one's using the medical record and documenting, as you go do things and as you read what everyone else is doing, and it's evolving. So that was the first thing. And I was like, well, I'm going to send you Word documents. You're going to upload them. So I had to get admin support. And that's always been a ongoing battle. And I have to be very creative I don't have it like on demand. They say I do, but they help everyone else with faxing records and filling out forms and everything else they have to do. So I'm just one in the cog. I'm not priority. So I have to be really creative of using other, developing good relationships. So when you're stuck, which is probably once or twice a week, how do I get something within 20 minutes and not 3 hours? Knowing, being able to use JAWS or whatever accessible software you use and be able to use it fairly well. I am not an expert, but I can do what I can do. Probably need to really be much more proficient in that area. Realizing you're going to have 4 alternatives for how you're going to get it. It may be admin can translate it into a format. You may want to scan it. You may want just, sometimes I get stuck and I just have Ira read it to me at that moment. So it depends how frequently you need it and how repetitively you have to use it. And obviously, you learn the hospital, you learn your environment, you learn, okay, you get stuck, where do you go back to? All those strategies I use on an ongoing day. And your environment can change. You could be now move the hospital wards may, merge, they may expand, you may get switched to another area. So you have to be able to, on the dime, and be comfortable to move to a new environment.
I think that there was so much said in there that speaks to social work, but also speaks to workplaces for blind and low vision people at large. So thank you so much for those valuable insights. And Thank you so much for your time today. To close out, I'm wondering if you have one piece of advice that you would want to share with aspiring social workers.
Well, that's a hard. I have one, but it's like 1 + 1. Okay,
we'll take it.
Your last answer was so awesome. You definitely get an extra.
Exactly.
Thank you. So first of all, and I did not have this as I look back, and that was a real struggle for me because I was not a competent, independent, and knew my strengths and weaknesses. I just had tons of weaknesses. I was fairly new and losing my vision at the very end, trying to support myself and learn social work. And I'm like, that's called trial by fire. So I would really, know your strengths and play upon them, but also acknowledge your weaknesses. And that would have probably helped me a lot. That's number one. And then number two, be okay. People are never going to support you. So you're just going to have to smile, and they're not going to remember 6 months later that you needed that. You just have to be, it's being assertive, but being nice. And it kind of ebbs and flows. But also any adaptive and alternative skills, hone on them, because you're the only one's going to have them, and they sure are not going to know whether they're good or bad, and they're not going to know the resources to help you in that area. So continually develop those. But on the other hand, you need to be, proficient and acknowledge that your work are going to be reviewed by everyone, and that's just the way it is. So just get comfortable with you'll do the gold standard every time, and then if anyone looks at your work, you're fine with it. And those two things will really keep you in good standing and let you shine, because you're going to stand out. And so just be comfortable with that.
Thank you so much, Laura. This was all very valuable information.
Thank you very much, Laura.
My pleasure. I do love my work, as you can probably hear.
Yeah, I'm glad that your folks you work with have you on their team.
Please contact the free Bridges Help Desk anytime through accessible web form, through text, send to 410-305-9199, email helpdesk@imagemd.org, website imagemd.org/bridges-help-desk, voicemail, call 443-320-4003, leave a voicemail message and we will return your call. Facebook page, facebook.com/Bridges for Maryland Blind Low Vision Transition. This unique project is being coordinated through the Image Center of Maryland, a center for independent living in Towson, and it is funded by a grant from the Maryland Department of Education Division of Special Education/Early Intervention Services.